Hello and welcome to a very fast slice of Germany. Because for 20 points this week you can go ahead and grab yourself the 2006 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG Wagon. Or if you're British, an estate car. So from stock this thing is pushing a very impressive 469 brake horsepower with 516 foot-pounds of torque while weighing close to 4,500 pounds. I've got to say though, from the front it does look very nice, from the side not too bad at all, and from the back it's actually pretty decent, I'm not going to lie. Also it's nice just to have some mid-2000s cars in here, but going to the inside it does look pretty good indeed. You got all your nice little vents, buttons, dials, gauges and everything, but now let's go ahead and take a listen. So going over to engine swaps, we've got a few available for this car. We've got ourselves a 5.2 litre V10, we've got ourselves a racing 7.2 litre V8, and also a 6 litre racing V12, which is going to be very interesting indeed. As for aero and appearance, going to the front, sadly we just have the Forza front splitter and tow hook, which is a bit sad. And as for a rear wing, we've got kind of the hatchback wing that Forza uses on pretty much every car at this point. You know, this being as nice of a car as it is, I was hoping for something a bit more, but you know what? I guess we have to take what we can get. However, our local mechanic Mac has been very busy and has kindly put together this tune for us. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code really quickly. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself. And I'm going to go ahead and install that now. So with these parts installed, we're now at the top of A-Class. We've got the same amount of horsepower, but we are a lot lighter now at 3,453 pounds. So going over to the paint shop, we've got nothing in advance like normal, but going over to manufacturer paint colours, we've got ourselves a whopping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colours to choose from. We've got ourselves a rather nice silver here, but we also have a rather nice looking colour right here as well as a sort of, I guess, olive forest green, I want to say, something like that. But in the meantime, I've chosen neither of those and gone with a blue instead. Alrighty, here's our Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG. I've just had to restart the console because Forza decided to be unstable as ever, but let's go ahead and take this thing racing. And away we go, we're now up against a whole bunch of other various assorted vehicles, and we've also got a challenge from our tuner Mac, who has set a time on here of roughly around 2:08 that we've got to try and beat. But let's try and see if we can get this thing up into a first place and, well, hopefully see if we can beat the time too. So if you do that, I'm going to be very happy indeed. Now, fun fact about this particular car, apparently roughly 12,000 E55s were built, which is honestly absolutely insane. But it does make me wonder now, how many are out there in the wild? Okay, on the brakes, let's see if we can make the turn, and there we go, beautiful. If you wanted to buy one of these nowadays, they can cost anywhere between £6,000 to £16,000 sterling used. And in case you're wondering, this is how much it is in USD. Now, I've not exactly been fortunate enough to see the, I guess the AMG variant of this, but I believe I used to see like a few of these older versions of Mercedes quite a lot when I was younger. They're really nice looking cars. And to be honest, I'm glad there's one in Forza now, because it means I can go ahead and definitely turn this thing into quite the drift machine, which we're actually going to do a bit later in this video, so do stick around. Alright, let's see, one more turn. There we go, perfect. Right, 95%, one more turn to go, a time of 2:08 to beat. Can we do it? The line is right there, and across we go. The very nice, well-deserved first place this thing, and a time of 2 minutes 7.594. So that was honestly quite the result indeed. Nearly a whole second faster than the max time on here, which makes me very happy indeed. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at what's on the horizon backstage this week. We've got ourselves the Ferrari F8 Tributo from 2019 versus the, that and the Ford Mustang Liberty design versus the McLaren 765 LT and the Aston Martin Vanquish from 2017. And to be honest, I've got to be patriotic, the British cars, well, they've got my vote. Has they got your vote too? Let me know in the comments. So, not content with giving us just a race tune, our mechanic Mac is back once again with a proper wheelie tune. So let's go ahead and bring up the share code really quickly, and we should see, there it is. Feel free to go ahead and pick that up for yourself, and I'm going to go ahead and install that right now. So with this tune, we're now just around the middle of S1 with 3,373 pounds in weight and 1,356 brake horsepower. Oh dear. So here we're now over at the back of the festival. I was promised the fact that this thing would wheelie, so let's go ahead and see, does it? And in fact, it does. And as I'm filming this, the mechanic himself has just popped back online. That's fantastic. Ah, yes, I wish I had that many credits. Anyway, let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control over at the edge of the drag strip. And away we go. 1,356 brake horsepower. Let's go ahead and see what top speed we get out of this thing through the camera. It is very, very heavy, but it does have a lot of power, so I'm hoping for something good. And we get ourselves 200 200.83, and we've also kind of run out of gears before the end of the runway, topping out at 216. Not gonna lie, thought I had an extra gear there. In the meantime, here we are now back over at the upgrade shop. Let's go ahead and take a look at conversion, because something I wanted to note is apparently this engine right here is meant to be the engine of a Pagani, which is going to be very, very interesting. I kind of want to swap it in and see how much power we make. The answer to that is apparently 1,144, which is not as much as the other engine. I'm kind of surprised, really. So let's go ahead, chuck back in the 7.2 litre V8, and I'll be right back. Yeah, that looks about right. And now I've got to sit here and tune everything. So this might take a little bit longer than I expected, because now I've got a 7-speed gearbox. In the meantime, here's a look at this week's Forzathon shop. We've got ourselves the Aston Martin DBR1, we've got ourselves a backstage pass, the Snowman outfit, another Aston Martin, this time it's the DB11, we've got the Happy Snowman head, the Horizon Super Wheelspin, and the regular Horizon Wheelspin as well. And now, out to the motorway. And now it's also time to play our favourite game of how close are we to the motorway grade. So let's go ahead and load ourselves in here and see. We were so close, it's right there. Right, here we are now over at the edge of the motorway. It's a beautiful, bright, sunny day here in Mexico. Let's go ahead and get ourselves onto some launch control, and away we go. Over 1,350 brake horsepower. This thing is about to be mental. Or at least, I really hope so. Although, to be fair, it was rumoured that without the factory speed limiter, this thing could still hit 200 without any modifications whatsoever. And by that point, I'm talking about the actual original version of this. Right, anyway, out of the speed zone at 264.02 miles an hour, we're still holding a solid 270. We've still got a downhill and speed cameras to go, so let's keep going. There's a slight turn, so our speed drops a bit, but through the camera, 270.68. Going downhill, 272, 273. Do we get any more than that? Well, kind of, yeah, actually, 274 out of this thing. And a rather bad parking job. Man, I'm going to have to call the insurance out over this one. Well, now we've got the car recovered, it is our turn to go ahead and take this thing drifting. So let's go ahead, throw it into our local favourite drift zone and see just how well it does. For something like this, I'm aiming for at least 35,000. I know 30 is normally the normal, but there we go, 38,023. But the question is, can it do it again, or better? There's only one way to find out, and that is by throwing this thing straight back in to go ahead and see what we can do. Going back the other way, it is, of course, around number 2. Can we beat 38,000? Well, nearly. 36,267. Which, to be fair, out of this really isn't too bad, and I'm also kind of surprised it's currently keeping up with make that beating an Aston Martin Valkyrie. I mean, hey, if that's not a reason to get this thing, I don't know what is. Definitely go ahead and pick up one of these yourself. It's only 20 points, and hopefully it shouldn't take you too long to get. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. But yeah, this is a very cool car, and I would definitely recommend picking this thing up. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya. And now to get ready for next week.